Once again, a very warm welcome to the learners. Okay. We are here at the week 11th of our NPTEL journey. It's been a long journey as of now, and we have covered a lot of learnings has happened up till now in our course, Understanding Incubation and Entrepreneurship. And it's quite interesting to see that, during this long journey, there have been many learners who have joined in who have tried to gain understanding from this particular course. And varied and diverse kind of doubts and questions have been addressed in this particular problem solving sessions. And now we are slowly approaching the finale of these sessions. So up till now, we have completed almost 10 sessions. And since it's a 12-week course, so we are having 12 problem solving sessions for this course. So we are here at the second last session of this particular course, and which means that this is the week 11th problem solving session. And I've also iterated it multiple times that in this long journey, basic aim of these sessions have been to help and guide and mentor the learners who have basically registered and enrolled for this particular course, and address their queries and also prepare them for the final examination, which is the physical mode of examination, which will actually give you a big weightage of marks. And that is something which we are trying to help you to guide you by preparing yourself and making you aware of the different ways the questions can be put up, can be asked from you, so that you are well prepared, ready, and you perform great in your final examination, right? So with that brief intent, we'll be starting today's session, right? So I'll be sharing my screen, and we'll be proceeding with the session. All right. So here we begin our journey of this particular course, and the journey in which we discuss and cover a lot of aspects. We try to present you a brief summary, a recap. We also try to tell you about, the various heads which we have already covered and discussed in this 10-week journey up till now. We also share some basic important aspects of under which scenario you will be getting a certificate, and what is marking criteria, right? And these are all followed by a set of 10 questions. Like every week, we have been posing, a new set of questions which are quite different from the one which you see in your assignment tab. And this is followed by the content recap. So basically, the kind of time we are left with after discussing the questions, we clearly reach on to that aspect, which is basically a image journey of the lecture content, and that helps us to understand what all aspects were covered in the course. And since it's a visual journey, we are able to very much quickly grasp it, right? And also what's important is that in our set of 10 questions, we also have validation screens from which I basically mean is that every question, the answer is validated by a visual imagery from the lecture content, right? So that we have correct responses and you gain right learning, right? So we don't have any doubt or any scope of any ambiguity left there, right? So with that, let's begin the session. So it's week 11th of our journey. It's a long week. It's a long duration which we have covered up till now. The course name is Understanding Incubation and Entrepreneurship, with the instructor being Professor Chakravarti. And today's date is 8th of October. And after that, we'll be having one more session based on the schedule which we have, will be around 15th of October. And yet again, this will be followed by one more extra session. So that will be 1 hour extra session that we'll be conducting. And that extra session is basically to prep you just before your final exam. So, anyways, we'll be having a set of questions, but yet again, there will be some important announcements, some important food for thought, do's and don'ts, which can actually help you and guide you in your final exam. Right? And so, this is the general agenda of the lecture, which is basically a set of protocol slides. And already covered a lot of aspects in it, but let me. So we start with a brief intro of an overview of the course. This is followed by marking and certification criteria. We also share some important dates with respect to this particular course, and then the typology of questions, single correct answer or multiple correct answers. Now, this is followed by a set of 10 questions, right? These questions are other than life itself, right? The reason being that these questions are basically to evaluate learners' performance, because based on your performance, you will receive certain marks, which will be basically utilized on your final marking. So हम देखेंगे in the subsequent slides, you will see sign how your assignment marks are basically contributing to the final marking. Okay, तो वो हम देखेंगे in the subsequent slides, right? Or we basically cover and solve week specific assignments. Now, I think many of you would have been already who are participating in the course. You must have already be made aware of what do we mean by week specific course content. So, like this is week 11. So the week 11 content is going to be uh, presented here in the form of recap. And the set of 10 questions which we are talking about is basically from that particular week. Okay. So it is a week specific content. So we are not posting questions of week 1 to week 10, but basically we are posting questions only relevant to the week 11, right? तो 11वें सप्ताह में जो प्रश्न है, जो जो कंटेंट है हमारा, जो भी आपको समझाया जा रहा है, बताया जा रहा है, बेस्ड ऑन दैट वी हैव लिस्टेड एंड शॉर्टलिस्टेड सर्टेन क्वेश्चंस, जो कि हम आपको ये 10 सवालों में पूछते हैं, राइट? Also, another important thing is that we respond to the queries and questions. Right? So you may have a question or a doubt with respect to the content or certain answer to a already published assignment, है ना? क्योंकि बहुत सारे assignment already solve हो चुके हैं. Assignment of live quizzes are available. The portal. ठीक है, तो वो ऑलरेडी अवेलेबल है और आप वहां से उनको देख सकते हो, समझ सकते हो। अगर यहाँ पे कोई डिस्क्रिपेंसी है देन यू कैन सॉल्व इट, राइट? सेकेंडली, द सेट ऑफ 10 क्वेश्चंस, अगर यहाँ पे इफ यू हैव अ डाउट और एन इशू, वो भी हम लोग डिस्कस कर सकते हैं। एंड लाइक आई मेंशन, वी डू अ कंटेंट रिकैप ऑफ द ऑनगोइंग वीक, व्हिच इज बेसिकली अ विजुअल जर्नी। विजुअल जर्नी, विजुअल जर्नी का मतलब क्या है? इट कैप्चर्स snapshots of the week's content, ठीक है? तो इट्स लाइक अ इमेज जर्नी, हम उसको स्नैपशॉट में कैप्चर करके हम बता देते हैं कि भाई दिस वाज प्रेजेंटेड, एंड इट बेसिकली इज अ गुड ट्रिगर ऑफ आवर मेमोरी, राइट? सो विजुअल चीजें हम ज्यादा रिकॉल कर पाते हैं, इट हैज अ बेटर रिकॉल वैल्यू, राइट? That's why we have incorporated this. Now, it is also partly based on my experiences of past PA-ships in NPTEL, right? So let me tell you this aspect as well, क्योंकि ये भी बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग एस्पेक्ट है। सो क्या होता था कि many a times, in these sessions, a learner would come without even going through the content, ठीक है? So वो कंटेंट पे जाता भी नहीं था, एंड देन दे वुड अपीयर ऑन दी लाइव session. Okay. And when I posted questions to them, they would be like blank. So there was no response onto it. Okay. So that is where I started having, content recap, so that they can actually gain certain confidence. Ki even if you have not gone through the lectures, which are around 2.5 hour duration, you will gain certain confidence in terms of what has been discussed, right? So in our 2 hour session, you will be actually be able to go through the very good content in a very brief way, and it will help you in addressing the questions. आगे बढ़ते हैं, okay? So क्योंकि लाइव सेशंस हैं and all these sessions are getting recorded, and the idea is that the recordings need to be uploaded. That's the reason we request people to please keep your mic on mute, so that we avoid any noise disturbances, right? Also, since we have requested you to mute yourself, but if you have any questions or you are responding to the set of 10 questions, during that you are invited to speak. And that is where you can unmute and share your perspective, your opinion, your thoughts, and that is very much most welcome. We also have a very interesting feature, which is the discussion forum feature, and that is basically accessible using Ask the question tab from the Swim portal. So basically here it can ask question and that get posted on the Google forum, discussion forum. And all the three stakeholders, which is the learners registered on this course, a few of the NPTEL members, and me as a TA are available. And this, so the moment you ask a question, you post a question, all these three stakeholders get and receive the notification. And, I also get, and, if I respond to it, then again, all these three stakeholders will receive the uh, notification. So there would be a possibility that, um, there are many learners who are having the same doubt or the same question. And the moment you post it, you become a voice to all of them, right? And then we can actually do the needful. And it also, becomes a very transparent way of communication and a very efficient way of, conveying and resolving the queries and the doubts. Right. So as I mentioned that, we'll be doing the recordings, and all these recordings of all the sessions will be available on my YouTube channel, because that is a mandate which is being given by the NPTEL team. Okay. And the reason behind this is that, so which basically means that the learners are the prime, focus areas in the NPTEL. They should be enhanced, they should be having enhanced learning. तो इसीलिए क्या किया गया है कि depending upon learners' availability, their leisure time, their free time, they should be able to access these sessions, right? So कई बार क्या होता है ना, these NPTEL courses are being taken up by students, by professionals, even some retired employees, and they might have academic engagements, they might have professional engagements, they might have certain social engagements. Okay. So considering the different user personas, learner personas, what we have done is that based on their availability of time, they should be able to go through the content. Okay. And that is where they are all uploaded on YouTube. Right. Similarly, what you're seeing is basically a PPT presentation, which is also including the annotations, the scripting which we are doing. Right. All these are converted into a PDF and gets uploaded on the drive. So, besides having the ability to view the content in a video, audio, video format, you also get the presentation which you can quickly browse through. Right. Also, you don't have to worry about the links, both the links. It is just for mentioning that these are available at these links, but you can actually access it via problem solving session. The moment you click here, it will lead you to again a page with a click here link. The moment you click here, it will lead you to a spreadsheet. The spreadsheet will be having week-wise rows. So you have week one, you have week two, week three, week four, and likewise. And it will be having week-wise specific YouTube links. However, there will be a common repository for the PDF presentation. Right? So the moment you click on the drive, you will be able to see the presentations in PDF form right from week 1 to week 10 up till now. राइट तो अभी तक क्योंकि हमारे 10 सेशंस हो चुके हैं तो आपको 10 सेशंस का पीडीएफ मिल जाएगा ऑन दिस पर्टिकुलर शेयर टाइप एज वेल एज आपको इन 10 सेशंस के यूट्यूब लिंक्स भी मिल जाएंगे ठीक है जो कि आपको स्प्रेडशीट के फॉर्म में अवेलेबल है राइट this is the course preview I think by far all those who have been active learners active learners they will be able to now realize that the course name is understanding incubation and entrepreneurship. This doctor is Professor V.K. Chakravarti sir, who is from IDC, IDC School of Design. He's a professor there and currently shaping up Mahindra University. He is also quite active in the DIC, the Incubation Center. And some of the case studies which were mentioned is also part of what they actually did in the DIC. So it's a 12-week journey, and we have already completed our till week 10. And today we are discussing the week 11. The deadline is tomorrow, which is the 9th of October. So if you have not been able to submit the assignment, please do it by tomorrow, because after which the rate will be over. And the final exam date is 26th of October. Okay. So either it will happen in the pre-lunch or the post-lunch slot. So it will be conducted in a physical space, which is you have to go to a venue with your admit card and you have to sit during the exam duration and submit the exam. So specifically, just to prep you for the examination, we'll be having an extra 1 hour session when we complete our week 12 course, so probably subsequent week. So just after our next session, when we complete our week 12, we'll be having that extra session. And उसके जो dates है, timing है, that will be conveyed very soon. ठीक है? I hope अभी तक किसी को doubt नहीं है. So basically, what is happening here is that these are going to be the progress tab. Let me highlight it with a different color. Yeah. प्रोग्रेस टैब में क्या है? प्रोग्रेस टैब में बेसिकली आपकी प्रोग्रेस, योर ओन प्रोग्रेस, हाउ वेल यू हैव बीन एबल टू परफॉर्म इन योर वीकली assignments, right? Why do we need progress tab? It's because you should be able to evaluate your own, right? You should be able to evaluate your own performance. So these are basically like class tests or unit testing, right? Uh, so here you can basically participate in multiple number of times, right? तो अगर हम पहले देखें, पहले you see a unit wise progress, right? तो हर वीक में how far have you seen the content, whether you have submitted the assignments or not. So this becomes a part of your unit wise progress. And then there is another tab which basically tells the points or the marks scored in weekly assignments. ठीक है? तो यहाँ से आपको, so if you see the content now, if you log in, if you have been submitting, so till from week 1 to week 10, you should be able to see your scores out of 10, right? So which means that you have to be very vigilant in terms of seeing and attempting these assignments, because these gonna shape up your final marks. They have a weightage. We'll see in the subsequent slides क्या weightage है और कैसे ये आपके final marks में it makes an impact, right? So talking about the certification, so जिसको भी जिज्ञासा है, जानना चाहता है, whoever is interested and passionate about the course, the course is free to learn. But अगर आपको सर्टिफिकेट की आवश्यकता है, if you need a certificate either from a faculty perspective or a student perspective, right? उसके लिए आपको कोर्स में एनरोल करना पड़ेगा और एग्जामिनेशन में बैठना पड़ेगा, राइट? सो फैकल्टी को की आवश्यकता है कोर्स की, ऑब्वियसली टू गेन नॉलेज, राइट? बिकॉज आजकल हर कॉलेज में दे आर सेटिंग अप इंक्यूबेशन सेंटर्स, and to facilitate and develop the required capacity, the faculty enrolls in this particular course. Also, many times they need some FDP certificate, right? So, uske liye bhi they do this course and they require a certification like this. Now, from a student perspective, it is directly counted in terms of credit requirement. And if you recall our previous sessions, there have been, initial sessions, there have been multiple number of students who have mentioned that, it's a part of their course curriculum and they have to appear for examination and the marks will be counted. तो उनके सेमेस्टर परफॉर्मेंस में, जो हर सेमेस्टर परफॉर्मेंस होता है, उसमें मार्क्स काउंट किए जाएंगे. So the last date of registration has already gone by. It's been a long time, but it's just for an information perspective that it was already completed. Now coming on to the aspect of what is the criteria to get a certificate, right? So again, this is very important because इसमें भी मैं time देता हूँ and I give sufficient time in order to tell the students so that they don't miss out. Uh, Let me quickly just have a look at the tuition. Like, all right, and it's getting recorded. Right, okay. Everything is going plan. So let us scribble and write about. So we have got rounds. Yeah. So now by internals we basically mean your weekly assignments. All right. जो हर वीक में आपके जो असाइनमेंट्स आ रहे हैं वो आपके वीकली असाइनमेंट्स हैं and we capture the best 8 assignments. ठीक है. So we take only the best 8, although there are 12 assignments in total. So we give you a benefit of capturing the best 8 for evaluation, and the weightage given is 25%. ठीक है. एक्सटर्नल जो कि आपका फिजिकल मोड ऑफ एग्जामिनेशन होगा उसका वेटेज आपको मिलता है 75%. So that the total and overall score we can generate out of 100%. Okay, so this is the very basic overview. Now comes the eligibility criteria, which are a little tricky ones. Okay. So here you need to score more than 10 out of 25. Here you have to score more than 30 out of 75 so that your score is more than 40 out of 100. ठीक है. अब इसमें भी कुछ समझने वाली बात है. There are some things which you have to understand, right? Which are the different criterias. For example, now you scored 20 out of 25. You scored 25 out of 75. Your overall score is 45 and out of 100. Now, कोई बता सकता है anybody can tell whether you'll be getting the certificate or not? Anyone? थोड़ा सोचिए इस पे. Just think about it. Basically, what I'm doing is I'm trying to highlight two conditions, right? पहली कंडीशन में आपने इंटरनल में बहुत अच्छा स्कोर किया है, राइट? इंटरनल में आपके बहुत ही शानदार मार्क्स थे. And the externals you scored 25 out of 75, so it is less than 30. Okay. Overall, you are meeting the criteria of greater than 40. However, you did not meet the external criteria, which means you won't be getting a certificate. Let's take another example wherein you scored 5 out of 25, you scored 50 out of 75. Your overall score is also great, but since you did not meet on this criteria, no certificate. These are some very little interesting, background rules. Please keep in mind, which means that so the basic essence is that internals are equally important. Although the weightage of external is more, but they are being accounted for in your final marks. And to perform well here, you have to perform decently in your both internal and external. All right. So this is how we have been transitioned for our week one to week two, week four, wherein we covered some basic questions about why startups fail, the mistakes by the startups, and then we saw a few journeys of successful startups and the learnings from the various panelists who had been into the startup journey, followed by what is the methodology of innovation? How do you strive for innovation? Right? The famous seven concerns or the seven C's. Then came the ideas program, the solar oven case study by Mr. Avinash, and then few of the IIT Hyderabad projects. Then we started in the week five from a little orientation towards the healthcare and med tech. This was followed by human-centered innovation by Mr. Shilpi and Mr. Dhayan from Khoj Labs and FN Studio, followed by humanizing technology, and then getting to know about the various incubators and what all Sign has to offer, and a startup story of Atomberg, which started their journey as sailing fan. Then the week nine, wherein we discussed about ethics, IT Hyderabad Incubation Center, followed by CHFE, and then in the week 10, it was about creative ideation, building proof of concept, and finally in week 11, which is now it's about the project presentations by IT Hyderabad investors. Just for your understanding, MTES is basically Master of Design, right? And these are the students at IT Hyderabad who are participating in this. Yeah. Believe that by far, if you have attempted the weekly assignments, you would have been now aware of the two typology of questions. One is a radio button based questions, which means that there is only one correct answer. So if I say which paratha you want, you can actually select only one of them, right? And these are marked by the circular shape button. So when there is a circular shape button, you are basically answering to a radio button question. And then you have a multi-select box, which is marketed by a square box, which basically conveys that you can select multiple. Okay. So if the question says what I can what do you want in your burger, I can actually select multiple of them. Obviously, more than one can be selected, and there is a possibility I can select all of them, right? Right. So obviously, when you see a square button, it means that there will be multiple correct answers, and it will be more than one, not equal to more than one. क्योंकि अगर सिर्फ एक होगा तो वो रेडियो बटन बेस्ड क्वेश्चन में आएगा. ठीक है. Let us pose a question and then I'll be able to answer this question. It's not basically a question, it's to help you understand the marking scheme, right? So hmm, these are the correct answers for this question, right? Now let us start taking the scenarios. So let's take the scenario one. It says if all the options chosen by the student are correct and no incorrect answer has been chosen, then full marks. Okay? Which means I select A, C, and D and I submit it and I will be getting full marks. Let's take scenario two. It says if at least one incorrect answer has been chosen, then no marks. So if I submit A, B, and C, or if I submit B, C, and D, or if I submit A and B, in all these scenarios, since you are having the incorrect response B, you will not get any marks. Now let's take scenario three, which says if only correct answers are chosen but not all correct answers are chosen, then partial marks proportional to the number of correct answers. Okay. Now if I select A and C and submit, and if I select C and submit, in both phase you are selecting correct answers, but you are not selecting all correct select answers. It basically means अगर आप सी चूज करके सबमिट करोगे एक करेक्ट आंसर का यू विल गेट अ प्रोपोर्शनेट मार्क्स में भी आपको 0.33 मिल जाएगा. पर अगर आप दो करेक्ट आंसर चूज करते हो नॉट ऑल यू माइट गेट 0.66. ठीक है. So it is just an example to tell you how the proportional marking will happen. So the idea is just to make you aware so that you don't get confused at how are you getting marks in decimal. आगे बढ़ते हैं. These were our top GMeet learners in the previous week, which is the week 10. Although today we are not getting that kind of headcount, but still I believe it's acceptable because we do understand that there could be many more engagements from a student perspective, from a faculty perspective, from a scholar perspective, and that's where it's perfectly fine if you are not able to make it. But if you get time, please do watch this particular video so that you are aware of the new set of 10 questions. Okay, so we start with our question number one. According to Professor P.V.M. Rao, what are the major aspects to consider while addressing the needs of visually challenged? Options है independence, correct choices, social integration, and language learning. So I would suggest you to take a little time in order to absorb the question, recall the content, and then we'll proceed with our screen validation with the correct answer, and we'll explain, why that particular thing is the correct answer. ठीक है, तो ये तो हम लोग हर बार कर ही रहे हैं. I think there is a battery issue soon, so I'll just turn on the. ठीक है, तो थोड़ा सोचिए इस पे. टेक सम टाइम, ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड. कंटेंट को रिकॉल करने का कोशिश करिए. And see that the context here is visually challenged, right? Sir, PVM Rao is a very leading figure, especially in terms of inclusivity, universal access, universal design. He had been both associated with Department of Design at IT Delhi as well as Mechanical Design Department at IT Delhi. And he had basically come to see the projects of the students at IIT Hyderabad. For one of the groups, he suggested certain various, major aspects to consider the needs of visually challenged. और वही हमें ढूंढ के बताएं. So is it about independence? Is it about the color choices? Is it about the social integration or the language learning? भाषा सीखना जैसे हम कहें. I think we have given sufficient time. Let's go to the screen validation. So he was giving a feedback to a team who was also working on visually challenged users, and he made various suggestions as a feedback to their team. What he highlighted was that two major aspects are to make them independent and to socially integrate them. हम्म? तो अगर आप देखोगे कि यही चीज आपको बोली गई थी इन द इंडिपेंडेंट की बात करें, हम बात कर रहे हैं स्वतंत्र होने की. और जब हम सोशल इंटीग्रेशन की बात कर रहे हैं, वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट सामाजिक एकीकरण. तो उनका ये कहना था कि जो दो मेजर एस्पेक्ट्स हैं अमंग द विजुअली चैलेंज्ड यूजर्स, वो ये है कि उनको पहले तो आपको स्वतंत्र बनाना है, और दूसरा जो है उनको सोशल इंटीग्रेशन देना है, यानी कि सामाजिक एकीकरण में लाना है. राइट. तो जो दृष्टिबाधित लोग हैं हमारे, तो हमें पहले तो स्वतंत्र बनाना है और दूसरा उनका सामाजिक एकीकरण करना है. वी हैव टू इंटीग्रेट देम इन दी सोसाइटी so that they are able to participate and feel that they are a part of society, and that is what is must be different. So the correct answers are independence and C, which is the social integration. Let's go to our second question. According to Dr. Rupesh Khyal, what was his advice to the team C together working to address the needs of visually challenged? Again, दृष्टिबाधित लोगों की बात हो रही है. जो टीम का नाम है वो है सी टुगेदर. अगेन इट्स अ टीम फ्रॉम आईटी हैदराबाद एमडेस. तो वो सी टुगेदर एज अ टीम काम कर रहे थे और उन्होंने क्या बोला था. ही रेफर्ड and he gave a piece of advice. And he suggested them the following options, and you have to tell which of the following options are correct. The first one is looking at the visually challenged as investors. Okay, तो visually challenged को आपको as an investor देखना है. Looking visually challenged as employers, as customer, and as volunteer. Right? तो अगर आप इसी को अनुवाद करें इन्वेस्टर्स यानी कि निवेशक, नियोक्ता, the one who employs, कस्टमर और ग्राहक, वॉलंटियर इज स्वयं सेवक. प्रोफेसर रुपेश हैं, उन्होंने एक सुझाव दिया है या सलाह दी है टीम सी टुगेदर को, जो कि दृष्टिबाधित लोगों के ऊपर काम कर रही है. और उन्होंने बोला है कि दृष्टिबाधित लोगों को देखना एक निवेशक के तौर पे, एज एन इन्वेस्टर, और एज एन एम्प्लॉयर नियोक्ता के तौर पे, एज कस्टमर एंड पोटेंशियल बायर्स यानी कि ग्राहक के तौर पे, और पोटेंशियल यानी कि संभावित खरीदार, यू कैन बी द बायर ऑफ योर प्रोडक्ट, एज वेल एज लुकिंग देम एज वॉलंटियर्स, स्वयं सेवक के तौर पे. तो इस पे थोड़ा सोचे, दिमाग लगाए, रिकॉल करें. and then we will address the right answer with the validation screen. ठीक है, तो थोड़ा सोचें, इस पे विचार करें क्या हो सकता है. डॉक्टर रुपेश ने जो टीम सी टुगेदर है, he suggested and he gave a very interesting piece of advice to them on looking at visually challenged from a very different perspective. दृष्टिबाधित लोगों को एक अलग नजरिए से देखने के लिए, जिनमें आपके इन्वेस्टर्स, एम्प्लॉयर्स, कस्टमर, पोटेंशियल बायर्स एंड वॉलंटियर्स हैं, यानी कि निवेशक, नियोक्ता, ग्राहक और संभावित खरीदार, एज वेल एज वॉलंटियर्स यानी कि स्वयं सेवक के तौर पर. इन सवाल नहीं है, थोड़ा सा रिकॉल करने की आवश्यकता पड़ेगी. Let's see the screen validation. Okay, if you see here, Dr. Rupesh mentions that there are, so this is at the time of recording that particular thing, that there are around 12 million दृष्टिबाधित लोग हैं भारत में. See, that figure is huge. With such a large number of people, they can by themselves become a pool of customers and who have buying power. Considering them as customers rather than people who need help can be a different way of looking at it. तो जो हम बोल रहे थे एक अलग नजरिए की जो हम बात कर रहे थे, वो हमारे यहाँ से आ रहा है, right? So the correct answers are looking them as investors who can actually invest in your offering, and at the same time as customers and potential buyers, right? So very good. We are. It's a tough question because, in a sense, that it's not easy to capture it directly, right? चलिए हम लोग आगे बढ़ते हैं. Let's proceed further. The team of Project Maverick mentioned about Baghdad Gerber's philosophy for children as RIE, which is okay. So you basically have to elaborate and tell us the full form of RIE. Is it respect for infant education, resources for infant educators, rise of entrepreneurship, and rethink the incubation and entrepreneurship? I'll repeat the question. जो टीम ऑफ प्रोजेक्ट मैवरिक, तो एक टीम है जो मैवरिक प्रोजेक्ट पे काम कर रही है. मेंशन्ड अबाउट मांगदा जेबर्स philosophy for children as RIE, and you need to tell what is the full form of RIE. Is it about respect for infant education, resources for infant educators, rise of entrepreneurship, rethink the incubation and entrepreneurship? पूछिए इसके बारे में, लेट मी नो. It's a tricky question है because it lies in the very detail of it. ठीक है, क्योंकि डिटेलिंग बहुत जरूरी है इसमें. Full form of RIE is related with the infant education or infant educators, or is it about the rise of entrepreneurship, or is it about rethinking the incubation and entrepreneurship? Right? Let's see the correct answer. So they mentioned that the principle of Mark Zuckerberg and if you see here, the philosophy for children was known as RIE, which is resources for infant educators. Educating approaches believes parents and caretakers must have respect for infants and trust that they are natural inventors, explorers and self learners. ठीक है ये बहुत important है. Infants should be viewed and spoken to in a ways that allow them to become more active participants in their daily lives. In her opinion, infants should be left to explore safe environments with little adult interaction. Right? ये बहुत बड़ी चीज उन्होंने बोली है खासकर इवन आई बीइंग अ पेरेंट आई सी दैट कई बार हम लोग बहुत ओवर पेरेंटिंग कर जाते हैं देयर इज अ टर्म कॉल्ड ओवर पेरेंटिंग एंड देयर इज आल्सो अ टर्म कॉल्ड हेलीकॉप्टर पेरेंटिंग राइट so what Magda is referring to is understanding that the infants they are natural inventors, explorers, and self learners. बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट उन्होंने बताया है and they should be viewed and spoken to in a ways that allow them to become active participants in their daily lives. ठीक है सो बहुत ओवर हैंड होल्डिंग की जरूरत नहीं है बिकॉज दे आर नेचुरल लर्नर्स ठीक है एंड infants should be left to explore the safe environment. Okay, so this word is also very important with a little adult interaction. So let them play, let them explore the materials, let them explore the various objects you have at your home, right? Ensuring that it's a safe environment, and that's where probably uh, we need to have resources for infant educators. Okay, so the correct answer is B, resources for infant educators. All right, that's the correct answer. Let's go to our fourth question. What is the core function of C Together's proposed digital product? To provide emotional support and companionship, to translate text into speech and vice versa, to connect visually impaired with sighted volunteers, to offer educational resources and training programs. तो अभी हम क्या पूछ रहे हैं हम लोग पूछ रहे हैं कोर फंक्शन सी टुगेदर इट्स अदर टीम ये भी एक टीम है आईटी हैदराबाद के बिल्डर्स में जिन्होंने एक डिजिटल प्रोडक्ट प्रपोज किया है आपको बताना है कि वो प्रोडक्ट क्या करता है क्या वो इमोशनल सपोर्ट और कंपेनियनशिप प्रोवाइड कर रहा है क्या वो ट्रांसलेट कर रहा है टेक्स्ट टू स्पीच एंड वाइस वर्सा क्या वो कनेक्ट करता है दृष्टिबाधित लोगों को साइटेड वॉलंटियर्स यानी कि जिनके पास दृष्टि है उन स्वयं सेवकों से या फिर वो एजुकेशनल रिसोर्सेज एंड ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम्स ऑफर कर रहा है सो व्हाट इज देयर proposed product offering is something is being asked. Think about it and let me know what would be the correct answer. फिर से हम बताते हैं the core function of See Together's proposed digital product uh, to provide emotional support and companionship, to translate text into speech and vice versa, to connect visually impaired with the sighted volunteers for assistance, and to offer educational resources and training programs. Provide emotional support and companionship, to translate text into speech and vice versa, to connect visually impaired with the sighted volunteers for assistance, and to offer educational resources and training programs. Okay, let's do the screen validation. So this is the app which the team was building on. The team was See Together, and their idea was bringing sight to blind and visually challenged people. We aim to build an app that connects blind and low vision people with these sighted volunteers for visual assistance through live video call. Okay. So there could be multiple use cases of it. For example, a visually challenged person is into a store and he or she wants to purchase a dress and they're not quite familiar or not able to make a decision because of its color and all. And that's where this app will basically work. So how it will help is that, you know, there is a blind, visually challenged person. It will make connection with the sighted volunteer. And through this app, they'll be communicating with each other. And it's more like a live video call, which will help them, the sighted volunteers, to actually see and tell, okay, this is a green dress. It has motifs and patterns of birds, and it's quite floral in nature. And likewise, one can make a decision. The other use case can be, the person is walking down a very heavy street. It's quite traffic, and then they might also be able to guide you, especially if you're walking as a pedestrian, right? So these are just the two use cases which sharing, but the idea is to connect visually impaired people with the sighted volunteers for assistance. All right. So that's the correct answer. The option C. All those who have opted for option C, this is the correct answer. Okay. Let's proceed with our question number 5. For the questions raised by for the question raised by Professor P. Kaushik in lecture 26 on the top three reasons for stress among office employees, what was the response by the team based? ओके सो प्रोफेसर पी कौशिक ने एक सवाल पूछा था, एक प्रश्न पूछा था ऑन द स्ट्रेस अमंग ऑफिस एम्प्लॉयज। तो उनका जवाब क्या दिया था टीम स्पेस ने? द ऑप्शंस आर लॉन्ग वर्किंग आवर्स, people not having a change of space, less break time and no time for meals। भोजन के लिए समय नहीं है। ठीक है, so think about it, let me know, take a time to address, observe, and tell us what to be the right answer. So what we can do is we can take a quick small break, on a 2 minute break, and we'll continue our journey. Okay, so just pausing the thing. So take your time, and we'll continue with our lesson. All right, so let's continue. I hope my screen is visible. Is it still screen sharing? Okay, okay, okay. That's fine, I believe. Let's proceed with our session. All right. तो यहाँ पे जैसे कि मैंने बताया, वी आर बेसिकली ट्राइंग टू अंडरस्टैंड, राइट, what question did P. Kaushik asked, and what was the response given by the team's page. So he basically asked a question on the stress among the office employees, why it is happening, and these were the options given. I hope you had sufficient time in terms of understanding the question and what would the right answers. Anyone, if you want to speak, now's the time to speak. Okay. So the top three reasons for stress was asked by Professor Purushottam Kaushik, and the team responded as the four root reasons are long working hours, people not having a change of space, less break time, and workload. Now, the workload, having a lesser break time, not having a change of space, sitting there continuously at one place, long working hours, not taking break, and the huge workload. Okay, it's all piling up on the workers, office employees. So the correct answers are A, which is long working hours, B, which is people not having a change of space, sorry, and C, which is the less break time. Okay. Let's proceed further with our sixth question. The project Mini Mart is about Dash, which allows kids to enjoy Dash by creating a real-time scenario of it works in everyday life. I think there would be a how here, right? So you need to tell what Minimart is. So there are two blanks. Okay. There's a blank A and there's a blank B. All right. And you have to tell me, what would be the right answer for blank A and blank B. Okay. So could it be board game? So Minimart, is it a board game which allows kids to enjoy maths by creating real life time scenario? Or is it a mobile gaming app which allows kids to enjoy English as a language? Or is it a shopping mall that allow kids to enjoy making purchases? Or is it about a book which allows kids to enjoy, play? Okay, right. So basically आपका जो प्रश्न है it's more like a fill in the blanks kind of a question जहाँ पे you are having two blanks and each of the two blanks need to be filled. Okay. Now, although it's a single correct answer question with radio buttons, but it's very intelligently capturing two marks, right? So it is having it's basically inquiring two sub questions within it. Okay, so if you have gone through the content, you'll be able to tell, how and what Minimart is, and what it is basically. Whether it's a board game, it's a physical game, or it's a gaming app, or it's entirely different shopping mall, or is it a book? And obviously, it's related to kids in a certain way, and you have to tell, whether it's about enjoying mathematics as a subject, English as a subject, or making purchases fun, or it's about play. Okay, so take some time, think about it, what could be the right answer, and also try to understand how the question is being asked, right? So it's very interesting way of capturing two responses in one particular question, and utilizing the fill in the blanks way of asking the question. So थोड़ा सोचिए इसके बारे में, बताइए कि मिनी मार्ट जो है वो है क्या? क्या वो एक बोर्ड गेम है, जस्ट लाइक गेम्स लाइक लूडो एंड स्नेक एंड लैडर? क्या वो एक मोबाइल गेमिंग ऐप है जो कि हम मोबाइल फोन्स में यूज कर सकते हैं? क्या वो अपने आप में एक शॉपिंग मॉल है? मतलब इट कुड बी अ वर्चुअल मॉल और वर्चुअल शॉपिंग मॉल, या वो अपने आप में एक किताब है। ओके, or which allows kids to enjoy what? And now the what has options like subjects, basically like mathematics, English, or to make them enjoy purchases and to enjoy play. So these are the options given, and you have to tell us correct answer. Okay, the options are. I think now let's go to the screen validation. ठीक है, अभी हमारा validation वाला part आ गया है, and we have to talk about mini mart. Okay. Now let's take a different color. It's not that specifically here. Okay. So Minimart allows kids to enjoy maths by creating a real-time scenario of how maths work in everyday life. Okay. So if you see the two questions which we asked, it's basically to enjoy maths. So we are talking about the subject maths. Okay. Unlike other math board games, we focus. So basically, it's also a board game. Okay. So if you see here, that's the final. So it's basically a board game where they are capturing and making the fundamentals of mathematics, making it easy and comfortable so that children generate that interest in the subject and they try to learn more, helping students enjoy maths by removing the pressure of formulas and numbers. Okay, तो यहाँ पे सब्जेक्ट के प्रति जो जो खुशी है वो लाने की बात हो रही है, creating a real time scenario which indirectly shows how we apply math in the real world. तो रियल वर्ल्ड सिनेरियो में आप मैथमेटिक्स कैसे यूज कर सकते हैं उसके बारे में बताया जाता है. Alright. So now if you can tell me the correct answer, it's A, which is it's about a board game which allows kids to enjoy maths by creating a real-time scenario of how it works in everyday life. So the correct answer is this, right? Let's come to our seventh question. What is the main function of Hocus Pocus headgear? Okay. So remember, this is another team at IIT Hyderabad. The department जो कि ऑप्शंस जो हैं वो आपके हैं प्ले म्यूजिक फॉर रिलैक्सेशन, monitor brain waves during meditation, create targeted tactile sensations for focus, and block out external noise. अगर हम इसको बोल सकते हैं noise cancellation. So basically, you'll see a lot many headphones have come with this active noise cancellations and all that. It's such a new thing in the headphone segment. Okay. अभी हम क्या पूछ रहे हैं? The main function. तो होकस फोकस जो टीम था उन्होंने एक हेडिगेयर प्रपोज किया था. You need to tell me what is the main function of it. Okay. Whether it was about playing music for relaxation, or it was about monitoring the brain waves during meditation, or creating a targeted tactile sensation for focus and blocking out external noise. जो बाहरी आवाजें हैं उसको ब्लॉक आउट करना, राइट? सो थिंक अबाउट इट, थोड़ा सोचिए इस पे, यू नो रिकॉल द कंटेंट and let me know, what will be the correct answer. Again, we are referring to the hocus pocus headgear. Just to tell you, I mean, headgear is something which will be put up on your head. कहीं ना कहीं आप एक दूसरे दुनिया में जाते हो थ्रू द हेडgear, राइट? और दैट यू हैव टू टेल, यू नो इसका जो फंक्शन है वो क्या है? इज इट अबाउट प्लेइंग म्यूजिक? Is it about monitoring the brain waves? About creating tactile sensations to focus? So tactile का मतलब होता है something which is touch related and block out external noise. बाहरी जो sounds है, बाहरी जो different types of sounds है, जो basically noise है, उसको आप कट डाउन कर रहे हैं, right? So think about it. थोड़ा सोचिए इसके बारे में and let me know. So let's go to the screen validation. Focus is a headgear with a targeted micro vibration to create tactile sensations for better focus during meditation. Right? So if you see, this is the headgear which we are talking about. Huh? Or they also mentioned about what are different components, within the headgear, which along with the materials and finishes, how they will add as a soothing comfort when you're wearing it. Right? And that is how the targeted sensation will basically be flowing, all through. Right. So it's basically a headgear. Headgear means something which needs to be worn, like what you see here. It's basically a headgear with targeted micro vibration to create tactile sensations for better focus during meditation. ध्यान के समय वो आपको हेल्प करेगा, right? So the correct answer is C. Create targeted tactile sensations for focus. Right? आगे बढ़ते हैं. Let's come to question number 8. I'll read it for you, but then I would want you to uh, read it by yourself. And I take some time to ponder upon the question and then let me know what would be the right answer. Referring to module 11, which among these are some important insights given by Professor Nakul? Parameshwar, as discussed in the Maverick project by Team 4, to accommodate design to ensure that it adds value to the existing gameplay. The same idea can be pivoted where the game can be made useful for special kids to accommodate the right kind of business pitch and implement strategies accordingly to accommodate the right kind of game to the right age group, which instills the motor, cognitive, and analytical skills. Okay, so now I'll give you some time to think and let me know what is the issue and what could be the right answer. Okay, we're talking about Maverick project and the insights given by Professor Nakul. Okay, so he has given certain options like what value it can add to the existing gameplay. If you can pivot the idea and make it for special kids or kids with special needs. That's what to both हैं children with special needs to accommodate the right kind of business pitch and implement strategies accordingly, and to accommodate the right kind of game to the right age group. See, age group is also very important, right? Which instills motor, cognitive, and analytical skills. Okay, so these are the options given to you. Think about it. Take some time. क्या हो सकता है, and then we'll be answering the question. Okay. Think because of some bandwidth issue, I'll just try to pause my camera for a while. Right. Uh, fine. जी, alright. ओके, तो इसके बारे में थोड़ा सोचिए और मुझे बताइए कि क्या सही जवाब हो सकता है। ओके, कि प्रोफेसर नकुल ने कुछ बहुत ही बेहतरीन इंसाइट्स दिए थे टीम मैवरिक को। सो थिंक अबाउट इट एंड ट्राई टू रिकॉल, है ना। तो क्या होता है ना कि व्हेन क्वेश्चन कम्स इन, हाउ यू एड्रेस इज बेसिकली ट्राई टू स्टार्ट रिकॉलिंग द इमेजेस फ्रॉम द lecture content and accordingly give that tell you the correct answers. ठीक है, तो थोड़ा सोचिए इसके बारे में। टेक अ मिनट एंड वी टेल यू द करेक्ट आंसर। Have taken enough time to process the question. Let's do the screen validation. Okay. So these are the different comments which Professor Nakul basically gives to the students. And let me make a screen share. Yeah. So if you're looking at complementing the existing game, then you have to accommodate your design to ensure that it adds value to the existing game. ठीक है तो value addition की बात हो रही है. You have to accommodate the right kind of game which instills motor, cognitive and analytical skills. तो यहाँ skills की भी बात हो रही है. And the same idea can be pivoted where the game can be made useful for special kids. ठीक है. So, apart from the other feedbacks, correct answers are A, B, and D. ठीक है ए बी ए डी मतलब to accommodate designed to ensure it adds value to the existing gameplay made useful for the special kids and which instills motor cognitive and analytical skills, right? This is the correct answer. Question number 9 पे आते हैं हम लोग. As per the business thesis of Spaced, their service helps finding ways to make life for Dash stress free and keep them happy and satisfied while working. The options are office employees, domestic helps, women entrepreneurs, and factory worker. ठीक है तो हम उस ग्रुप की बात कर रहे हैं जिसका नाम है स्पेस्ड और वो क्या कर रहे हैं वो किनका लाइफ स्ट्रेस फ्री बना रहे हैं whose life they are making stress free and making them more happy and satisfied. ठीक है तो ये आपको बताना है कि बेसिकली वो कौन सा यूजर ग्रुप है जिनका लाइफ ये लोग स्ट्रेस फ्री बना रहे हैं एंड happy बना रहे हैं and satisfied बना रहे हैं. So there are multiple things which you are trying to do. You need to tell me which user group they are targeting. कौन सा यूजर ग्रुप वो लोग टारगेट कर रहे हैं office employees, domestic help, women entrepreneurs, and factory worker. Take a minute to think. We are basically trying to understand the business thesis. Thesis for the group is based, and the question is about which user group they are targeting in order to make them stress-free, happy, and satisfied while working. ये बहुत important aspect है while working. ठीक है ऑफिस एम्प्लॉयज एक ऑप्शन है डोमेस्टिक हेल्प्स मतलब देर आर maids, servant, gardeners, and car drivers, all those who are helping in the domestic and household chores of the house. Women entrepreneurs, the one folk which are there working as a startup, trying to develop and make it more sustainable, make it unicorn. Those women entrepreneurs are the factory workers again who have a very stress-oriented life with huge working hours, a very laborious kind of schedule they have. So, what is it that they are targeting? The team is based targeted. Okay, let's go to the screen validation and check. Our service is based helps finding ways to make life for office employees stress free and keep them satisfied while working. Who belongs to the focus group or work at odd hours at office? तो basically इसका जो जवाब है वो कहाँ है? Office employee. To increase the efficiency of work and better productivity in the offices, to reduce the chances of errors by the employees. Alright? So सही जवाब है वो है office employees. In life of office employees, stress free and keep them happy and satisfied while working. Right? Correct answer is office employees. Let's come to our last question. Complete the following sentence as mentioned by Professor A. Narasimha, referring to the mini mart project in module 11. The solution of your product will flow from dash the customer segment which will arise from more research and understanding. Okay. So there is a term here which needs to be fitted. The options are defining, pivoting, pinpointing and validating. Okay. Professor Narasimha थे उन्होंने while referring to the mini mart project, if you remember, it was about a board game. And if you recall in the previous book, we have already taken up a question on mini mart, which was trying to make the subject maths fun by putting it. Okay. The solution of your product will flow from dash the customer segment which will arise from more research and understanding. Okay, तो मेरा मार्ट प्रोजेक्ट जैसे कि मैंने आपको बताया वो बोर्ड गेम से रिलेटेड है जो कि सब्जेक्ट मैथमेटिक्स को डील करता है बाय मेकिंग इट फन अमंग द किड्स. सो जैसे कि आपने देखा होगा द प्रेशर ऑफ thinking and recalling the formulas and theorems, they've eased off that pressure in their board game design. आपको बताना है कि which term will fit in perfectly here, whether it is defining, pivoting, pinpointing, or validating. Okay, take a minute to think, and we'll try to address the question with our screen validation and with the correct answer. बताना है what is the term which will fit in here in the context of this. Let's go to our screen validation. The solution of your product will flow from pinpointing the customer segment which will arise from more research and understanding and also from the existing alternatives. Okay, so the term here which we are basically asking is pinpointing. It's also a very, very tricky question in terms of reading between the lines. It's more of that question. Okay. So it's not an easy one to crack, but since we have shown you an example, when you are preparing for your final this thing, you'll be able to understand, where and what type of question might be asked. Okay. So with that, we complete our problem solving sessions for today. This was just a quick recap. I don't think we have much time left, but I'll just browse through for what all projects these students had been doing, and various screen snippets basically will tell you the different propositions, the feedback given by these experts from different domains, including academics and professions, and the different offerings which they had, and the questions, and as well as the replies, to those questions are also very, very interesting, and it will help you learn, right, from them. So that's where the content recap was. The questions at discussion forum we have already discussed, right? Let's try to save the presentation before we close upon in terms of a PDF, because that's what we shall be uploading, right, on our shared drive, so that it's easily available to all of you and accessible to you as well. Right. Meanwhile, let me stop sharing my screen. Okay. Okay. Uh, do we have Alauddin? Are you there?
Yeah, good evening, sir. So because of some, I was traveling, so that's why I can't be able to join. I was joining, then leaving.
क्या क्या इशू था अलाउद्दीन? कुछ नेटवर्क इशू था?
हाँ सर, मैं ट्रैवल कर रहा था सर अभी
अच्छा, अच्छा। ओके, ओके। नो
अपनी
नो
जगह।
इश्यूज अलाउद्दीन, इट्स परफेक्टली फाइन। व्हेनेवर यू गेट टाइम आप आराम से इसको देख सकते हैं पूरा रिकॉर्डिंग। नो इश्यूज देयर। ठीक है?
जी सर, मैं ये पूछ रहा था सर कि बस असाइनमेंट तो सर मैं कर रहा हूँ और बस आप ही के वीडियोस देख रहा हूँ। तो
हुँ,
वो एनफ है ना सर, क्योंकि मेरे पास टाइम नहीं, क्योंकि मेरे को 3 और सब्जेक्ट तैयार करना है
हुँ, हुँ, हुँ।
क्रेडिट ट्रांसफ़र के लिए, तो सर यही था सर।
सी जैसे कि मैंने आपको पहले भी रिकमेंड किया है, द अगर आपके पास बहुत कम समय है, द बेस्ट थिंग व्हिच यू कैन डू इज़ कि एटलीस्ट गो थ्रू ऑल द क्वेश्चंस जो कि असाइनमेंट में मिल रहे हैं और जो हम शेयर कर रहे हैं इन आवर एक्स्ट्रा सेट ऑफ क्वेश्चंस, दैट विल हेल्प यू प्रिपेयर अ लॉट। ठीक है? और क्योंकि हम लोग कंटेंट रिकैप वाला पार्ट बहुत
जी
फास्ट
जी।
कवर करते हैं, तो आई वुड सजेस्ट कि वो आप या तो जो ड्राइव में जो हम पीडीएफ डालते हैं, आप उसमें उसको थॉरोली देख लें। ठीक है? एंड द बेस्ट यूज केस वुड बी कि आप उसको जो है वो लाइव कंटेंट से पढ़ें। ओके, दैट इज द आइडियल सिनेरियो, क्योंकि वो जो चीज़
जी
पढ़ा
सर।
रहे हैं और जो हम कवर कर रहे हैं उसकी पेस में बहुत डिफरेंस है। सो दैट इज माय रिकमेंडेशन फॉर यू।
जी सर, वो टाइमिंग का थोड़ा इशू हो गया, मतलब बहुत लेट मैंने एक तो कोर्स है
ठीक, ठीक है, जितना आप कर
इनरोल
पा रहे हैं करें,
रजिस्टर
कोई
किया।
कोई इशू नहीं है इसमें। वट एवर यू कैन डू, एटलीस्ट यू डू इट फ्रॉम योर लेवल। ठीक है? उसका
ओके सर।
टेंशन मत लो आप।
जी सर।
चलो, ठीक है अलाउद्दीन, thank you so much for joining in, and
वेलकम
we
सर।
close our week 11th session today, and the next would be our last session in terms of the organized and planned sessions, और उसके बाद हम लोग प्लान करेंगे एक एक्स्ट्रा सेशन लेने का। Alright, so till then, see you all, thank you so much for joining.
ओके सर, थैंक यू।